This is Love Notes, daily devotions from Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. Grace and peace to you. Our text today is Luke 22, verses 54 through 62. So they've come and seized him, and they lead him away. They bring him into the high priest's house. This is not a trial. Only Pontius Pilate will be able to do the trial. This is a hearing, a religious hearing, if you will. They bring him to the high priest's house. That's where they all assemble under cover of darkness to plot to get rid of Jesus. Peter, we're told, Simon, has followed at a distance. I always find that an interesting way of describing Peter. He follows at a distance. It's a mix of courage and cowardice, isn't it? He's courageous enough to follow, but not courageous enough. He's coward enough to put enough distance between he and Jesus that he isn't under threat. He puts his toe in the water, but he does so secretly. Does this sound familiar? Are we sometimes in our faith and our following of Jesus both courageous and cowards? Probably. I know I am. When they'd kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat among them. This is becoming quite a community affair in the middle of the night. They kindle a fire so they can keep warm. They want to stay outside and kind of like, watching the news channel. They want to see what the latest developments are going to be. They want to be there first to get the scoop. Peter sits among them. He consorts with them. Now, the distance is overcome, but it's the distance to the enemy that's overcome. Peter doesn't want to associate with Jesus, but he'll consort with these folks. So a servant girl comes and she sees him in the firelight and she stares at him. She looks at him and looks at him, and then she says, "This man was also with Jesus." Peter denied it, saying, "Woman, I do not know him. I do not know him." This is the same guy who answered the question, "Who do people say that I am?" And he said, "You are the Son of Man." But he says, "I don't know him." This is the same man who left his boats behind and followed Jesus, whose mother-in-law was cured by this Jesus. And now he doesn't know him, doesn't want anything to do with him, because the time of trial, has come, and Peter isn't doing so well. A little later, someone else sees him and says, "You also are one of them, one of the people who go with Jesus." Peter said, "Man, I am not. I am not one of those people." Then about an hour later, still another kept insisting, "Surely this man also was with him, for he is a Galilean." I'm not particularly sure how they exactly know that. Could be an accent. Many commentators believe that those who were in Galilee and those who were in Judea proper might have had accent differences, much as somebody from Georgia and somebody from North Dakota are going to sound different. Maybe it's the way he dresses. Whatever it is, they've got him. He's a Galilean, and he's been with this Jesus. But Peter said, "Man, I do not know what you are talking about." A forceful insistence that he has nothing to do with Jesus. And at that moment, while he was still speaking, the cock crowed. Jesus' prophecy comes true. Luke has this line that isn't in the other Gospels. The Lord turned and looked at Peter. Why? Why does he turn and look at Peter? What's the emotion in his eyes when he turns? If he's true to what he said before, pity, forgiveness, grace, mercy, knowing. These are all in the eyes of Jesus as he looks upon Peter. And then Peter remembered the word of the Lord and how he had said to him, before the cock crows today, you will deny me 3 times. And he's caught, he's convicted, he's judged. This is what judgment looks like. When you're caught in your own lie, when you're caught in your own consorting with devils and evil and enemies, when you put a distance between Jesus and get right next to the fire with those who wish to harm him. Judas has betrayed, Peter has denied, and now Peter, knowing what's happened, goes out and weeps bitterly. He's failed. For all his bluster and his attempts to lead, he has failed, and Jesus knew it would happen. But the door is not closed. We should also notice here that now Jesus is alone with evil, alone with darkness, alone. The disciples and his followers have all run off. Under cover of darkness, the only ones around him are those who wish to destroy him. Jesus is alone for our sake. Amen.